Once upon a time, in a lively jungle beside a winding river, lived a big silly crocodile named Cranky. Unlike most crocodiles, Cranky was clumsy and forgetful. Instead of being feared, Cranky became the favorite of all the jungle animals, who found his antics endearingly hilarious. Cranky was always up to something peculiar. One day, he decided to wear a hat made of bright pink flowers, thinking it would make him look dashing. Instead, he ended up with a nest of mischievous monkeys hitching a ride atop his head. It wasn't long before Cranky realized something was different, especially when he tried to shake water from his scales and heard giggles instead of splashes. "Oh dear!" Cranky exclaimed, trying to peer up at his flowery hat. "I seem to have grown a garden, and it's full of monkeys." The monkeys laughed and jumped up and down, causing Cranky to wobble from side to side. Every which way Cranky turned, the flower monkeys held on gleefully. Finally, with a mighty sneeze, he unseated them all into the sparkling river. Cranky's friends were always rescuing him from his own silly ideas. There was the time he tried to brush his teeth with a toothbrush made from twigs. He ended up gnawing on a tree instead. "Cranky, that's not your toothbrush, that's Fred the Branch," chuckled Benny the Bird, flapping his wings. Even when Cranky managed to chew things correctly, he often forgot what he was eating. Such was the day he munched on a picnic blanket, thinking it was a giant slice of colorful cake. Yura the young elephant, who was having a picnic, was bemused. "Cranky, dearest, that's not cake." "Oops, my sincerest apologies," Cranky would always reply with a sheepish grin, bearing his big toothy smile in a way that you just couldn't help but forgive him. But Cranky wasn't all silliness. He had a heart larger than himself. Whenever there was trouble, the animals knew they could count on him. One sunny morning, a sudden rumbling shook the jungle. A big storm had rearranged the river's banks overnight, creating a pool that trapped the tiny frogs on their lily pads. Cranky, with his tower-like stature and broad back, immediately came to the rescue. He carefully tread into the water and carried the frogs on his back to safety, one lily pad at a time. The frogs sang his praises. "Hooray for Cranky! Hooray for our hero!" From that day on, every animal knew that though Cranky the crocodile might be a little goofy, he was generous and kind and always there to lend a helping claw. In Cranky's case, it was his strong and silly grin. And so, in the jungle by the river, Cranky lived happily surrounded by friends, learning each day that it was perfectly wonderful to be just as you are, even if you are a big, silly crocodile.